Hey guys, welcome to the Fantasy Buckets podcast. I'll be your host once again, Jacob Olmos. Getting into week one for the NBA season. It was a great start to the NBA season. We had some awesome performances from some of the studs. Some of the studs didn't live up to the hype, and a lot of them did well. Some didn't. But today, what we're going to be getting into is guys who are flying under the radar, guys who are on your waiver wire right now. Well, they should be on your waiver wire because the ownership percentage is really low. So more than likely, they're going to be on your waiver wire, and these going to be guys who are low key balling, who are balling, just flying underneath the radar. A lot of people don't know about them, and yeah, I'm going to be sharing that with you. We had some great games. I was kind of upset the Rockets lost to the Lakers. Man, I don't know how we're going to do with playing that type of defense and just trying to outgun everybody. I don't know. We looked good the last two games, though, so we might be all right. But we shouldn't have lost to that young Lakers team, although they do have a lot of potential. But, yeah, man, let's get into it. And first guy, after I take this sip, first guy on the list is gonna be T.J. Warren. T.J. Warren of the Phoenix Suns. This guy is only 21% owned. That might have spiked up already a bit. He's starting in place of P.J. Tucker, who was the starting small forward last year. And P.J. Tucker's coming back from a back injury, so he's slowly but surely going to get back into the mix of things. But he's being gradually brought back. So for the time being, T.J. Warren is starting getting all the minutes, and he's doing well. That's why I got him on this list. He's got a scorer's mentality. He gets buckets. He's also averaging about 6.7 rebounds thus far, so he's improved in that, because last year he wasn't really a rebounder or known as a rebounder. He was just a guy who came off the bench and looked for a shot. So he's still looking for a shot. He's getting the minutes now. So now he's actually getting those buckets, and it's working out. He's been balling. He's been flying on the radar, but he's been balling. A lot of hype. There's a lot of hype surrounding Devin Booker. And, Devin Booker is a great young player, but you got to remember, man, a player like Devin Booker is a shooter. Like, what else does he do besides shoot? So if he's shooting and he's on, then it's great. Everything is gravy and you're happy with him. But when he's not scoring and he's not making his buckets and he's going through a shooting slump, you're going to have those roller coaster games from a player like that, because besides the shooting, he doesn't really do or provide a lot more. So T.J. Warren has been stepping it up and has been getting points. He had a career high in points. I think it was like 33 points or something. And he's been playing great. So if you need some help at your small forward position, T.J. Warren is definitely a great pickup. Next player on his list that is flying under the radar and balling low-key is Sergio Rodriguez. Sergio Rodriguez. He's the starting point guard for the 76ers. And this dude, you're flying under the radar when your fantasy app doesn't even have a picture of you when your player card is pulled up. So I had to go find a picture of this guy off of Google, and he was balling internationally before he came to the Sixers. And really, he's a 30-year-old point guard, and the Sixers really brought him over just to kind of be a veteran presence in the locker room with other point guards. But I think they got more than what they bargained for, because, man, Sergio just came in and is running the offense greatly. When he's on the court, the offense runs fluid. the ball is moving, and he's an old school point guard. He's a pure point guard, so he's looking to pass. So I think his teammates are hitting those cuts, and when they cut to the basket, they're cutting hard the way they should be, because they know if they get open, Sergio's going to dime them up. And he's already had about 2 games in double-digit assists, and he can also hit the three-point shot if he's left open. And he's had a couple threes the first game. And the other plus is that he's currently leading the team in minutes. And I'm going to stress this throughout the podcast, man. If somebody's getting minutes equals opportunity. So that's always a key factor when you're picking people up, when you're looking at trades, when you're doing anything. If a guy is averaging 30 or more minutes, or at least 25 minutes plus, then that's great, because that means he's actually on the court and can have the opportunity to grab a rebound or a steal or make a three-point shot, or what have you. The only thing, well, not the only thing, but what's kind of what you got to remember, or what you got to be cognizant of, is that Joel Embiid is on a minutes limit restriction. So they're not playing him a lot of minutes, and right now he's only playing about 15 to 20 minutes. Joel Embiid has looked like a beast. The dude's a badass. He's got great footwork, man. He can shoot 3. He can do it all, and he's got a great post game. I saw the game against the Thunder, and Steven Adams is a great defending center in the league on the post, and he was giving Steven Adams some work. So Sergio Rodriguez assist production might drop down if they start going to Joel Embiid on the block. If that just becomes their offense, just come down and ISO Joel Embiid on the block and let him draw a double team, or just have him go one-on-one. That may kind of cause Sergio Rodriguez's assist to regress. But other than that, man, as long as Jared Bayless is out, he's out on injury, so that's why Sergio Rodriguez is getting the start, and TJ McConnell backs him up, but TJ McConnell, isn't running the offense the way Sergio is. And I think him averaging 30-plus minutes and leading the team in minutes of playing time just shows that the coaches like the way he's running the offense, and they like the way he's quarterbacking the team. So if you need some help at a point guard position, then Sergio is definitely a great pickup. And all these guys I'm going to mention, I'm not telling you to go and drop your star players for these guys. If you have, in a competitive league, there's always going to be like 2 or 3 players per lineup, or maybe even just 1 player per lineup if you feel that you drafted that well, or if you did draft that well. There's always going to be a handful of players who are disposable, and you got to have those disposable players. So as you play throughout the week, you can plug and play these players. So all these guys are great plug and play guys. If you need a player for a week because your point guard position has a low volume schedule of games, then these are great guys to plug and play. Or if you feel like these guys are just going to do better than, say, a Tony Parker. I would take Sergio Rodriguez over Tony Parker right now, because they've already rested him and he's not playing a lot of minutes. Patty Mills is coming in and giving production off the bench, and that's Kawhi Leonard and LaMarcus Aldridge's team. But anyways, I'm kind of getting off topic, but Sergio is a great pickup, and be looking for him on your waiver wire. He is only 9.4% owned. So 90% of you of the leagues out there have this guy sitting on the waiver wire, ready to help your team out. Next on the list is going to be Trevor Booker. He's the power forward for the Brooklyn Nets. My last video, I talked about Jeremy Lin, and I was right. Jeremy Lin has been going ham. And I said, one of the questions I asked was, who else does Brooklyn have? And I forgot. Well, I didn't forget. I kind of knew. I just didn't remember at the time. But I knew about Brook Lopez. The thing about Brook Lopez is, man, he's a giant. This dude is 7 foot, and they're always going to rest him because big giants like that, if they play too much, their bones crumble. not really, but they take care of those guys, man, and they rest them a lot. And Brook Lopez is going to be resting all throughout the year. So this guy, Trevor Booker, who's a power forward for Brooklyn, is a great rebounder, and he's been starting, and he has a role. He's starting in front of Luis Scola, and who's the other guy he's starting in front of? He's starting in front of Luis Scola and Justin Hamilton, and he's a great rebounder. He's already had 2 double-doubles already in the first week. He's going to shoot a high efficiency of field goal attempts because he's around the basket. He's been flirting with the three-point shot because it's something that he worked on in the offseason. He's missed, I don't think he's made one yet. But the majority of his field goal attempts are going to come on cleaning up the glass and offensive boards. So this shouldn't knock his field goal percentage down that much. But like I said, he's a great rebounder. The production will go up when Brook Lopez is out, and the production will be there even when Brook Lopez is in the starting lineup, because he's got that carved out role and he's playing a lot of minutes. So as long as he keeps the starting spot over Scola and Justin Hamilton, when Brook Lopez is out, they're putting Justin Hamilton at the center, and then they're rolling out Booker at the power forward. So that's his position. He doesn't move to center unless Brooklyn decides to go small, but I doubt that they would. Trevor Booker is a great pickup, and he is only owned in 8.3% of most leagues. So he should be sitting on your waiver wire if you need help at the power forward, or you just need to plug and play somebody at the forward position. Next on the list is going to be Taj Gibson with the Chicago Bulls. He was somebody that I also mentioned on the previous video for the deep sleepers, so I was kind of right about him, tooting my own horn. He's a great rebounder. He's already averaging 9 rebounds per game. He's shooting a good field goal percentage, and he's got 2 double-doubles already. Mirotic has also been getting minutes with Taj Gibson, but I could kind of see Taj Gibson is starting, Mirotic is coming off the bench, but I could see how these guys could both have key roles in the rotation and not affect each other's fantasy production. Gibson is going to get boards. Like I mentioned in the last video, Robin Lopez is not a great rebounder center, and Gibson has been gobbling up these rebounds. He's currently only owned in 20% of leagues, so 80% of leagues out there, he's available to you guys. And if you need another power forward, then by all means go scoop up Taj Gibson. He's been putting in work, and he's been low key balling. He's been balling low key. Let's see. The next guy on the list is going to be James Ennis. James Ennis. He's the small forward for the Memphis Grizzlies. So in the last video, I mentioned Chandler Parsons, and Chandler, I wasn't completely wrong. I was somewhat wrong because I thought he'd be playing by now, but apparently he's not. So there goes the whole injury-prone Chandler Parsons factor of him not playing. I wouldn't say, it's all dependent on your league and how competitive it is. I don't know if you won your first week. Luckily, I did. I had Anthony Davis. It's all depending on your league, but if you want to stash Chandler Parsons, then I'll leave that decision up to you. You know how good your team is. If you're blowing competition out the water, then yeah, you can stash Chandler Parsons until he gets back, which is going to be 2-3 weeks, maybe a month, who knows for sure. And you can stash him because when he does come back, he should give you good production because, like I said, his skill set is needed in Memphis. But in the meanwhile, James Ennis is balling out. He's starting at small forward for Chandler Parsons, and he's a good rebounder at the small forward position. He's already averaging 7.3 rebounds. He's also a good three-point shooter. He's already, I think he's made 5 3-pointers in the first 3 games, so he's averaging 1.6. And he's averaging 30 minutes per game, and that's all you can ask for a player is the opportunity to to come in the game and play. I know the coach recently made in the last game made a decision to move him down from small forward to shooting guard, but that hasn't affected his play. He still got a bunch of minutes. He didn't score as much at the shooting guard position. That could have just been game flow, but he made it up with the big rebound game. So obviously this guy is picking up stats in different categories, and he seems like a great player right now. Him and Mike Conley seem to complement each other. So yeah, James Ennis with the Memphis Grizzlies. If you need some small forward help on your roster. Next on the list is going to be Tim Frazier. He's last on the list as well. Tim Frazier with the New Orleans Pelicans. He's been putting in work. He's been doing great. He's going to be starting point guard while Drew Holiday is out. Drew Holiday, has the whole wife situation going on, and he's taking care of her health. As long as Drew Holiday is out, Tim Frazier has got the green light. And man, besides Anthony Davis, he's the only other guy really producing on that team. He's the only other guy really giving Anthony Davis, some help. He's got 2 double-digit assist games already. He's a great penetrator. He can get to the rack. He likes to use his body on that little spin move and then cock the ball back and shoot it over the tall trees, and it works for him. He's got some N1s off of that. He can also pull up for a mid-range jumper or a three-pointer. I might have mentioned already, but he also has two double-digit assist games already, so he's good to go, and he's getting the minutes. He's getting the playing time. Buddy Hield was supposed to, come in, and there was a bunch of hype around Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield is not a threat to Tim Frazier at the moment. It seems like the point guard position is Tim Frazier's, and it belongs to him. He's owning it, and Buddy Hield is going through those rookie woes, and he was a super confident player in college. I loved watching him in the last March Madness because he just had a swag to him how he carried himself. But now that he's in the NBA, he's not really carrying himself with that same swag. It's gonna take. I'm not ruling him out. Potentially he could start gaining that confidence and carving out a bigger role. But as of right now, until Drew Holiday gets back, Tim Frazier is a great acquisition that you could add to your team. And I'm not sure when Drew Holiday is gonna come back. That whole situation is kind of iffy, and it's really dependent, like just on him personally. He might just say, "Hey, I'm taking this season off," and that would be great for Tim Frazier fantasy wise. He would be a steal. Tim Frazier is only owned in 48% of leagues, so I guess a good amount of people know about Tim Frazier, but I try to use guys who are 50%, less than 50% owned in most leagues. So that concludes my list of guys who have so far in this small sample of the NBA season been balling out and putting up numbers, but flying under the radar, quote unquote, low key balling. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'll be putting some more videos up, just talking about different studs who earned their keep and went off, and then studs who really didn't and kind of just womped and didn't do well. It could be don't panic yet. Don't start dropping guys who are big names. You got to be patient. We did get a small sample size in a short week for the first week. This second week should give us a better picture and a better feel for players and how they're going to do. Man, Kawhi Leonard has been a beast. He's been great. It's good to see that guy look for a shot, and he's done really well as the man in San Antonio, I feel. So yeah, we'll get into that in the next segment or next video. And I appreciate you guys tuning in. This has been the Fantasy Buckets podcast. Check.